To lose someone we love may be the most difficult thing that we have to go through in life, but to be left alone with the sorrows, especially when it's children, it can really make it even worse. So today I'm heading north of Copenhagen to visit a non-profit organization that works with this issue. I'm Julie Tran and this is BonVoyage on MakeChangeTV. Welcome.
Well, if I should translate the name of it, it means Lifeline in Sorrow or in Grieving. Basically, it's a non-profit organization offering support to families with children that loses a parent or sibling. This is a story that goes back to 2007. My son was 10 years old at that time and his dad got cancer. He was 41 years old, so we didn't expect that, of course. And he had 4 months of sickness and then he died. And during that process, I noticed or I experienced that while there was a patient, there was a great system around us supporting us, helping, giving us a hug when we needed it, was always ready to talk and support. But that day when he died, we said goodbye to him, but also to all the support in the system. And when we walked out the door from the main hospital in Copenhagen, I felt extremely lonely. I've never felt that lonely before. And then started a travel or a journey that I wish nobody should go through, but it happens to many families. And that's actually what we want to help and support them through that journey.
Okay. So now let's talk a little bit about the problem here in Denmark. For example, how many children are actually losing their parent or their father or mother? Do you have any number about that?
Yes, we do, yeah. It actually happens to 10 to 11 children every day in Denmark that will lose a sibling or a parent. Yeah. So it's quite many, 4,000 families every year.
Yeah. And there's a hole in the system.
There is, because there is actually, we do have a great system in Denmark, and there's a lot of offers and support, and there are many things available. The thing is, when you are in this situation, and there's nothing strange or unnatural about death, not at all. Yeah. The thing is that you don't expect to lose a parent or a child when you are a family with children. We're not used to that. So the situation that the family are in is really, how would you say that? It's very difficult because you need to keep life moving on, you need to make your money, you have to support your child and yourself. There are economic situations and it's just not the time that you expect this thing to happen. Yeah. So socially the family is really vulnerable. And what we need to do is prevent and work with the family really soon, because there is if you see a timeline from a child have a loss or is losing somebody, and you go ahead 4 to 6 months is the time when the child can go into a grieving group and actually deal with the loss. But in the main time, there is nothing, there's nobody. You are on your own, and that is actually the problem, that there is nobody taking care or approaching these families. So it means if you are a resourceful family, if you have a great network or somebody is putting out the hand to the family, they'll probably make it. Yeah. But there are so many that are not resourceful in our system, and that can mean a great difference for these children, how their grown-up lives will be.
And when did you start the organization?
2.5 years ago, we founded the organization. Before that, there was 1.5 years of hard work to get the project right.
So what kind of services do you provide to the families?
Well, we get in contact with the families when they're at the hospital or the hospice usually, or through the police. So we come out there, we get out there right after somebody died, or at the point where we know somebody's going to die. And what we support is that they get in contact with a person who has a personal experience into this area. So the people we're sending out have lost themselves. Usually many years ago, they're done dealing with their own process. They are educated into working with people in crisis. So they actually come out there, and just showing up and talking to somebody who has tried it themselves means a great deal. Because we are not professionals, so we don't speak from the brain, we speak from the heart. Yeah. And that special meeting is really, it opens up for people to accept support and help. So one thing is that we're guiding them, helping them to find support in the system, what is available, what can you do, concerning where do you live, what is the whole situation. We can go with the family to the school and let the school know and give support there. We go with them to the doctors if that's what they need. That's usually when we have somebody who is sick and going to die. We'll actually help them with everything which is needed. You have one contact person, okay. And that person will follow you from the first meeting and all the way through until you don't need us anymore. So you can actually stay around as long as you want, but our wish is to actually pass it on to other people specialized. So that person that is following the family then asks all the questions and find out what is needed, what is the situation of this family. And we look at all the family members. And then if we see their economic problems or just questions, then we call for that person specialized in that area. Yeah. And so we have different people specialized. It could be a lawyer, it can be many different things, but there will always be one central person coordinating everything, making sure, following up all the time to make sure that the family is doing well. Yeah.
Because it's very important, because it builds on trust.
Exactly. We're in dealing with really deep things, people, and it's a very vulnerable period. So trust is basic. It's so important. So important.
So, how long do you normally provide the family the services? Do you have a time on that? Because some family, maybe they have a need for you. The more like, I don't want you to leave me. Please stay here.
You're my angel. You're my best friend.
1 year after. Yeah. Do you have
there's an average, and we can see average is about half a year usually. But then we have on one end we have people who is just calling maybe twice, asking questions on the phone and getting advices and whatever they need. And then they are actually fit to go on their own. Then we have other families we have one family at the moment that has been with us for more than a year. And the situation is special, and it's needed that we cannot let them go. So what we're trying to do is to make these families fly on their own. But some people take longer time to leave the nest, if you can say so, and go out and feel secure to move on their own.
Now we're also talking about children who have lost, their parents. How do you deal with a problem when it concerns children?
Yeah. Well, what is important to say is that there's no treatment in our organization, and because actually there are grieving groups provided other places, and we don't want to do what somebody else is doing. There's no need for that. So what it is to help people in the period where things are in crisis. Then with the young children, it depends on the age, of course, but some of them are seeing their consultants on their own, sometimes with the family and sometimes on their own if it's needed, especially teenagers. Need to talk to somebody else, somebody from outside, somebody which is, they have a lot of knowledge of children in grief. So the way they can talk and what they can deal with is really important. So that's usually what we do. Well, this family, they lost the father, and he was the provider of the family. He was in charge of everything. He was home because he was retired. So he was basically the person taking care of everything. He had a heart attack and was gone like this. Oh. And this mother was alone with a teenage son and a very big dog. And first of all, there was a lot of words that she didn't know. For example, the card you use for paying your bills. So the Danish name is indbetalingskort. She didn't know what it meant. So she had no overview of the economic situation. And she just, she piled it up and didn't do anything about it. So when we came out there, that was 3 months after the husband died, and everything was a mess economically. And she just I don't see it, there's no problem, doesn't exist. So things has really gone mad at that time. So we provided some economic assistance to fix that. And then there was this big dog in the house, which was overfed, was what the consultant said that she came back. It was overfed and understimulated.
Yeah.
So he was all over. He would actually jump to the table with his paws and be all, chewing and stuff, and they couldn't control this dog. And the mother was ready to get rid of it. Life was stressful, difficult, and this dog was just a burden. The thing was that the dog was a gift from father to son, only 1 year ago. So that was a really important connection for the son to have his dog around, and probably that dog would have listened to all his feelings and sorrows and difficulties. Dogs or animals can have a very special place in the child's heart. So what we found is we had this mother that wanted to get rid of the dog, and we had this child, and we just said we cannot take that dog away. That is the connection to the father. So what we decided was we need to have this dog trained so it can stay in the family. So we actually found somebody who voluntarily gave 10 hours of training of the dog, and that solved the problem, so the dog could be in the family. So that is actually how we work with the family. That's one example, and a service that the government would never be able to provide because it's so broad what we do. We do whatever it takes to make that family work and go forward together. But what we're looking for when you become a Lifeline consultant is, first of all, you have tried it yourself. That's the first one. Because that is a special connection between people when you talk to somebody who's tried it themselves. And then secondly, they need to have some kind of education into working with people in crisis. And that there are different kind of educations, and we're open to all of them. But you need to have experience, because what is very difficult and requires quite much of that person is that you enter their private home very often. And when you step over that doorstep, you have no clue who you're going to meet and what the situation is. And very often there will be 3 people in deep sorrow. They have different ways of coping with it. Some are mad, some are sad, some won't talk. Somebody's just crying their heart out for hours. So and you need to actually be able to manage many people at the same time, and they are different. So it really takes a lot of experience, and it takes a very good heart. So what we say is that we don't we're not hunt. What is it called now? Headhunting. We are heart hunting.
Oh, that's a good word.
Because you really need that. So that's what it takes.
So how many people working in the organization now?
We are about 30 people active, doing very different things to get it all up and running.
So you have to, pick up 3 questions, but just one at a time.
One at a time, okay. And I hand it over to you?
Yes. So I can read.
So let's see.
What do you find most interesting about your career?
Most interesting. I'm a very curious person. I was born curious, and what I'm doing now is I've stepped into an area that I didn't know anything about when I started. Probably that was good.
Yeah.
Because I don't know,
know what you mean.
I didn't know what I was getting myself into. But the thing is, every day is my learning curve is like really going uphill, and that's probably the most exciting thing, that I'm learning so much new. Probably every day, and meeting so many interesting and inspiring people. I love that.
So you love the unknown?
Yes. Yeah. Okay. Spot on. Yeah.
Yeah. It's great. Some people are actually afraid of it, but
no, I like it.
Yeah, me too. Actually.
That's why we're here.
Otherwise, life is too boring, right?
Yeah.
What has been your most valuable lesson?
My most valuable lesson. To trust myself. I think. Okay. Yeah. Go out there and do it, and trust that I can do it. Not let fear come between, but just do it.
So this is something that you're pretty much aware of it while you're doing things. It's always come back, okay, do I trust myself?
Yeah, first time I experienced it, that's way back from probably in the beginning of my 20s, and I was part of a big presentation, and I was supposed to be the technical person showing a computer program on the screen. This is 20 years ago.
Oh, so. Really? I was like, did you really want a computer program? Wow.
And I remember, then something changed. I think actually the one who was the speaker that was supposed to be with me, she got sick. And that happened the night before. And everybody else on the team just turned to me and said, well, you can do it. And I'm just like, no way, I cannot do that. Sure, you can do it. Let's bring her some what is it called, cognac or something. He said, you can do it, you can do it. So I got up the next morning and thought, okay, they say I can do it. And I have to tell you, I was so scared that I cannot believe it. And actually, I did 4 of them, and the last one, there was 250 people in the audience. Okay. And then, when I was done, that feeling of, I did it, I can do it, was a great, great feeling. And that has followed me on. So every time I'm standing there, it says, I'm scared. It says, okay, you're scared, that's okay.
So you just take a cognac every time you're scared?
No. But the learning of, that good feeling, and then, you can be scared, but it's okay to be scared. Yeah. You got to do it anyway. You have to be,
Exactly. It's always about how you deal with things more than what happens to you.
And there's so many people supporting you if you ask for it.
If you dare to ask for it and not be scared
of asking for it. That is also difficult.
All right, a third one. You really have the question that's really focusing on you, yourself.
Ooh.
What do you like most about yourself?
My ability to talk to everyone or everybody, no matter if they are high or low or black or white, it doesn't matter. I just love meeting people, and I'm easy at it. I love that. There's many things that you can learn from books, but the most important things that I've learned was from the people that I met. And if you're curious and keep asking, everybody has a wonderful story behind. Yeah. But you got to give it time and be willing to really learn and listen.
So what has been challenging for you during the years?
What has been challenging? Probably getting the money to run an organization like this, because we have a lot of people asking for help. We have all the people we need to supply to give the help. So we have everything in order, and it is quite easy for me to get people on board and become part of the organization, the whole movement, the way we think. But the thing is, at this moment we have 30 people connected, and sometimes I feel like it's like running a business, because you have to do exactly the same thing as in a normal business when you run a non-profit. The biggest change is probably, or challenge is, that you have your hands back folded. So the resources is really, really hard, because having so many people out there, and it's like an orchestra, and you need to fund the basic. As I see it, has to have money to fund it and to organize it and keep it professional. Yeah. Because for me, it's very important that everything we do is professional. Yeah. And then you need high professional people and somebody to run the whole thing. So getting the fundings for the office here is very. It's difficult. It takes a lot of time, and that can be frustrating, especially for me, because I want to go out there where I make a change or make a difference. But a lot of my time is actually spent behind the computer, because I need to find the money. So that is a big challenge. That has been difficult also for me to stay there behind the computer, because I want to go out there. I want to touch people. I want to talk. There's so many things that need to be done. I cannot sit here in the office. So that's probably the biggest challenge.
But definitely you're doing a great job, because I know that you have been awarded a prize. Yes. Which actually we met each other.
True.
Yeah. So can you please share with our viewers a little bit about the prize?
Yeah. Well, it's called Lillebror-prisen, and it's handed out by an organization called BonVoyage. And this is an award they give every year. It's 50,000 crowns and a very nice sculpture that you get. Can either be for a person or an organization, and it was a great pleasure. I didn't know that somebody sent in the application. So I was thrilled to know that somebody's actually seeing what we're doing and gave us it's like a clap on your shoulder. It's well done, and get the attention. It's very, very important for the organization and the people involved. So
it motivates you to go on.
It does. It does. Yeah.
So now talking about going on and moving on, so let's talk about the future.
Yes.
What is your ambition concerning this?
It's actually check the services that we're provided here in the North Zealand, in this region. I want to take that out in all the country, so we get closer in contact with the people who needs us, and that is probably a long journey, but that's what I would like to do. And when I'm done with that, I want to go abroad.
Okay.
So,
have you any consideration concerning that? I mean, have you tried to do some, some research about what are the needs in other countries when it comes to this?
Yeah, well, that's very much the future. So at the moment is to focus on Denmark and get that running. That is the most important, and that's where our focus is. Probably will take a couple of years to do it. We have the strategy, we have everything in place. So what is controlling how long time the process will take is the money.
Yeah.
So if we're lucky to get in touch with a foundation that will actually be part of this project and give us some millions, then we can do it.
Nice.
Then we can do it fast. So it depends on how fast can we actually get the. I mean, money is a resource that is needed. I have all the people, but I also need some money.
Yeah. Definitely.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that's what's in the focus.
And right now I'm just have the song of ABBA. Money, money, money. Sorry about that. Okay, let's get back to the conversations. Come on, let's talk money, and then money song in my head now.
You have to sing that every morning when you wake up.
Maybe that's a good way to attract it, though. Yeah, let's do that. You and I can do that in the next 30 days or something like that.
In bed.
Exactly. Well, thank you so much, Pia. It has been, wonderful to hear your story. I truly admire your work. It's really wonderful work you're doing right now. So thank you for sharing your story with us, and I really wish you the best of luck.
Thank you.
Lots of money will come
Lots
in.
of money. Thanks you so much. It's been a pleasure. Great.